difference from your expectation? And do you have any feedback or takeaway from this World 2020's journey?
Expectation is hard to say. I believe that we had the hopes of a more competitive series. Ultimately, though, I think that we can be pretty proud of how far we've come, given the difference in just meta read and how teams play. When we came here to China to prepare, the scrim results were pretty dire. Basically, every best of 5 looked like this one. So we actually got to semifinals, so I'm pretty happy about that. The only regret I have is that I don't think we've shown our level today. And I'm not saying it would have been enough, but I think at least we could have given the fans a series to remember. But instead, now we just go home with a pretty sour taste, playing not to our standards.
Question is from NG and words over to Caps. In game 3, your colleague have had an ambush for around 1 minute. So what's your thoughts there?
So the Crocs were up, they just did the Herald. I thought Graves would go to the Crocs, he did, but I mis-executed my kill on him, I guess. So I didn't end up not killing him. I think he also had no flash, so I felt like he could be a kill for me, maybe a way to bounce back in the game. But yeah, ended up just like with me dying, I think, so wasn't that great.
This question is from Andre and was over to Mickey. Actually, after game 3, you both said on Twitter that if you ever fit this hard ever again, I'm going to treat you to the Turkish lead. So do you have any thoughts toward this?
Well, thanks for the question, first of all. And yeah, I mean, I think I'll try to replicate my performance like that again. So maybe I'll have more success in the Turkish league, yeah.
So this question is from Al Dhaka and was over to Wonder. In today's matchup, you have chosen Omnistone a couple of times, although it's not a very popular choice. So what's your understanding toward that?
Well, I can't really tell you guys too much because I'm kind of saving it for the next World Championship. So I can't really give my thoughts on why Omnistone is good or not. But yeah, you guys should for sure try it out in your solo games.
This question is for Perks. In game 2 with the Azrael, you failed in making the tower dive to kill Ash. So what happened? What happened there?
Well, Ash was staying under the turret with low HP, and I thought I could dive her, but I guess I could not. So I died instead.
This question is over to Grabs. So what was the biggest reason that you guys fell to Talmud Gaming today?
The biggest reason is that they're a better team. And I think we can be sincere in saying that. They're a team that doesn't have many openings. They change up their style depending on draft. They don't have any patterns like traditional Korean teams have. So we knew it's going to be really hard. And it's not one big thing. It's just the fundamentals are really good. And I think also they're going to have a really good chance in the finals. Hopefully they will win because then it fits better for us. But yeah, there's not one big reason. They're just really, really good. Probably one of the better teams that we saw the last years. So
this question is over to Caps. In this year's Worlds, there were this year's Worlds was packed with premier mid laners. So what's your thought on your journey in this event?
Yeah, I mean, as Grabs mentioned earlier, I think going into the tournament, Europe was kind of behind, which also kind of showed in the results of like basically all the teams. I think we managed to catch up to the other teams a lot, but I mean, obviously today we didn't really show up and we were not strong enough to take on Damwon. I think Showmaker played really well today, and he did very few mistakes. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it'll be fun to see how he will Damwon and Showmaker will go up against either Suning or Top in the final. Since both Angel and Knight are also really strong mid laners, we can see who will take the trophy this year.
This question is over to Perks. Now that you have played Talmud Gaming in 2019 and 2020. What makes them different compared to last year and this year?
I think this year the meta favors them much more than it did last year. I think this year, like they basically, I think the Asian teams in general, like they've been playing ever since Summer Split started, basically, like the jungle changes came in, they've been playing this like farm junglers, and like basically junglers are like power farm and teams play around them and they play around objectives more than other teams, at least Western teams. So I think they were just very, very good at what they were doing, basically for a few months already. Whereas we did not start playing that basic until Worlds Bootcamp, which is like already like, we already basically 3 months behind on other teams. So us catching up to the meta that everyone else is playing, and it turns out to be the Worlds meta after all, is what kind of gave them the edge over us, I feel like. We're not able to just like catch up to them one, I guess. Maybe if we like broke the meta, or if we had practiced this style earlier, we would have been good enough to beat them today. But that's just like things to dream about, I guess, and think about. It's kind of useless to think about it right now though. So they were just much better prepared the last few months.
Over to Caps. Well, there were a lot of bumps on the road for G2 this year, but you guys managed to lift up the trophy twice in this year, and also you guys made it to the semifinals at Worlds. So what kind of year was 2020 for you, and what was the most memorable moment in this year?
Yeah, I mean, this year was definitely like a weird year. Obviously, we played most of LEC online. So it's definitely sad to like lose out in semis. I was looking forward to playing in front of a crowd again. And the most memorable part, maybe winning Spring Split. It was fun to play AD carry, and winning it. It it was kind of like, yeah, it was kind of a crazy year, I guess. Especially because we lost like basically the first round of playoffs that split. So it was kind of like Worlds where we were also like a bit behind even in Europe, but we managed to catch up and be better than everyone in Europe. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to do the same at Worlds right now, but maybe if there was a low bracket. And yeah, I just hope we can show up stronger next year, get another 2 trophies in Europe, and hopefully go all the way internationally as well.
Simon from the Enquirer for Perks. The Summoners Cup has evaded Europe for the past 3 years now. What do you think does the region need to finally win the championship?
Loser bracket. The Europe needs a loser bracket, or at least G2 needs it. We kind of like, twice we won the split this year. We lost in the semifinals, and then we won through loser bracket. So I'm pretty confident that if we had loser bracket right now, we would have made it back to the finals and would have won through loser bracket. Yeah.
Oh no.
Eugene for Coach. Coming into Worlds 2020, EU were given 4 seeds and many saw LEC as the second strongest region. Now, with all the LEC teams out of Worlds, what do you think of the overall strength of LEC going forward when compared to the likes of LPL and LCK? Do you think the lack of MSI played a big part in the strength disparity of regions too?
I guess I answer the second part first. I don't think MSI particularly had an impact on this Worlds because the meta evolved after the break between the splits anyways. And overall, we have been saying the same thing for the 2 years. I think necessarily what J2 and Fnatic play at Worlds is not respectively the strength of LEC. Every single time we come to bootcamp, we have to dig deep and sweat a lot to learn to catch up. This year, the meta was different too. So yeah, I don't think that the LEC is the second strongest region. as much as I would love to say that. And we're trying to get there, but it will take some time and just more work from below. I think the regional leagues are a good step forward for Europe to actually get new talent in and challenge the highest teams, but we're still a bit far away from it.
Okay, thank you for G2. Please stand up and take a photo.